How's it going, everybody? My name is Bo and I'm a home theater enthusiast, and in today's video I'm going to do a full walkthrough, tour, whatever you want to call it, of my home theater. I'm going to give dimensions, I'm going to give components, model numbers, and even price. This is going to be a full breakdown. Basically, this room right now is complete. I accomplished all 3 of my goals for this year already. I don't really have any other goals moving forward for actual things in this room. Now, I do have plans down the road for some stuff in the equipment rack, but as far as the room itself, from the paint to the acoustics to the screen, everything is the way I want it to be, and I see no reason to change anything. I mean, it could be like this, honestly, for 10 years. Or, you know, I could do something in 5 years. I don't know. But anyway, because I'm so happy with where the room's at, I think it's time to do like a final room tour. And like I said, I'm going to go into full details. So this will hopefully help somebody either make their decision on what to do. I know a lot of room tours, a lot of people don't ever talk about cost. I mean, I don't like to do it personally, but I just figured for the people that are watching this that are maybe looking to upgrade or start a room, I think it would be beneficial for some people to get an idea of what the cost that is involved. And honestly, I never thought I'd spend as much as I did. There are some places where I think, you know, I probably should have went a cheaper route. There's other places where I went cheaper and then had to go to the more expensive route later on. Cost me more in the long run. So anyway, I hope this video is entertaining. I hope it helps some people. So let's get to the room tour. All right, so we're going to start the tour in the back room. So I'm currently standing directly under the projector with a shelf that I built. And here's a more zoomed out look at the room so you can see exactly where I'm at. Obviously, to the right is the AV rack. To the left is my movie collection and some figurines and some posters. So here's a look at the top of the bookshelves. We have the old Lord of the Rings extended edition DVD set, as well as the extended edition DVD, or Blu-ray, I mean. A couple Funko Pops. You got Artemis from Ready Player One and Harley Quinn from the Suicide Squad. And then here's my little Matrix shrine with the DVD set and some figures I got from a yard sale for like $5. And there's a little Gumby I found from my childhood. Also just have a bunch of extra DVDs and Blu-rays that I just don't know what to do with. I don't want to get rid of them. So I try to display as many as I can, especially some of the cooler ones. But yeah, my actual physical collection maybe not as big as some people would think, considering I claim to be a movie enthusiast, but I'm actually kind of particular about movies. You know, when I was younger, I'd go see everything, and I kind of know what I like, what I don't like, and I try to buy movies based on, well, either I've seen them and I know I love them, or it looks really good and I just didn't get a chance, or didn't see them in the theater, so I take a shot and buy them blind, basically. I have some steel books, which I'll pull out a couple here. We have the Dune Part 1 and 2, which I like. This Fifth Element one is probably my favorite. Starship Troopers looks pretty amazing. And yeah, so that's a look at the collection. It's ever growing. The bottom row is all DVDs, and eventually those will be all moved out for 4Ks and standard Blu-rays. So to the other side is the real meat and potatoes, is the AV rack, and on top is just more Funko Pops, plus a really awesome Optimus Prime Transformer toy and Star Wars Trilogy Special Edition, and then the RoboCop, which I cannot think of the damn model, and then some more Funko Pops. We got the Major, we got Natiri, and Lilu Dallas Multipass. The rack itself is Pro Connect, which I've never heard of. This was an area where I saved a lot of money. The size, I forget the exact size, 32U maybe, go for about $1,200 starting out if you buy one brand new, and I paid $300. but it came with a 16-port Ethernet switch, which I sold for $40. So I'm going to say $260. But by the time I put rack spacers, some screws, cable, management stuff, that was another $140. So basically the total for the rack, as it is $400.91. So a big savings there. If you can find one, you get lucky like I did and find one used. Yeah, that's an area I wasn't really gonna spend $1,200 plus. I just was not gonna have one and keep my old wood one, but because I really found a steal, and it worked out. So I like how it looks, and I like having a place to set some more of my figures and stuff. So it all turned out. Okay, so now that the door to the AV rack is open, I'm gonna start with the brains in the brawn. Is the AVR. This is a Yamaha RX A3080. It's a 2018 model, which I bought in 2020, and I paid with tax $1,694 when it was still going for $2,000 before tax. So I got a good deal from Safe and Sound. They gave me the open box price, even though they didn't have an open box one. So they really hooked me up. This is where you're not gonna be able to save a lot of money these days, because similar receivers now basically start at $3,000. But because it's only a 9 channels of amplification, I needed some extra help, which I just ended up powering both my pair of height channel speakers with these Niles amps. They are SI 250s, 50 watt by 2. Got one off eBay, one from Crutchfield. Ended up spending $455.80. Yeah, I could have probably bought some better ones, but honestly, my height channels are so close to my ear, they didn't need much power. I would like to do something different. Maybe power my LCR with some separates, and then have the Yamaha power everything else. But anyway, there is a little rack spacer vent above the AC Infinity, which sits above the AVR. The AC Infinity was $136.74 off Amazon. I'm not sure if that's, the current price, but that's what I paid. And below the AVR is my 4K Blu-ray player. This is the Panasonic UB820. I think they have a slightly newer version out. It's actually more expensive now. I paid $423 out the door with tax. It's now $499 plus tax. But I really like this player. It's really good. And then we have the Apple TV 4K, which is actually a little bit cheaper right now. I think they're going for $140, $150, and I paid $190.73. And then this is just a old Sony Blu-ray player. I use the USB drive to play some DTS and Dolby Atmos demos. And you can't see it, but there is a mini DSP 2x4 HD back there, which was $282.64. I don't know what it goes for now. But that's really besides the point, because we got to tally up everything that I spent, and we're going to count all the equipment, the rack itself, all the rack components, HDMI cables, surge protectors, all the speaker wire coming into the rack, subwoofer cables. Everything total is $4,203.91, which honestly was more than I thought it was going to be before I added everything up. But I did save a lot of money on the rack itself, and I got a really good deal on the Yamaha. So it could have been more. But anyway, that is the AV rack. And now it's time to talk about the doors and projector shelf that I made. I constructed these in 2023. I used to have a curtain here, and it looked terrible, so I built some custom doors. I'll show the other side when I'm in the theater room itself, but these are just made out of 1x4 pine board and some 1/2-inch foam board painted with some paint I already had. So basically I had to buy some wood, bought the hinges, I bought this strip here so that you know, there was no light coming through, and then a 3/4-inch MDF board for this shelf, and then I just used some wood I already had as some support pieces. You can see it's kind of bowing a little bit in the middle, but overall very happy with this, and the price was only $260.03. So yeah, it wasn't very expensive at all, and I'm really happy with the results. So yeah, that's everything basically until we get into the main theater room. But since the projector is in this room, I'll start with that. And this is a JVC NP5. It's a 4K native lamp-based projector. And when they first came out, they were like $7,000. Then they dropped to $6,000, and now they're sitting around $5,000. I've seen them as cheap as $4,800, brand new on Crutchfield. But when I bought it, I paid just under $5,300, and it is the most expensive single piece of gear or anything I've bought for my home theater. So yeah, it was a big expense, but honestly these days, I mean, the Epson LS12000 is $5,000. The Sony 5000 ES is at $5,000 or $6,000. So it's right there price-wise. I haven't really seen the other ones, but I have no doubt in my mind that the JVC is the best option in that price range. And I have it calibrated now, and yeah, I'm very happy with that. So all right, now it's time to get into the actual theater room. So we'll get to that right now. All right, so with the doors open, it's kind of a nice entrance into the room, even though this isn't an actual entrance. The main entrance is this side door, but I do like coming from the AV equipment rack room and to get this look of the new 16:9 screen. We'll talk about that, but first the dimensions. It's about 10 foot 11 inches wide from drywall to drywall, but with these wooden columns that are 4 inches thick, it brings it closer to about 10 foot 5 where the couch is. And it is 6 foot 8 inches from the carpet to the drop ceiling, and 17 foot 10 inches long, except for the screen is 5 inches off the wall with some acoustic panels. So it really feels like 17.5, I would say. But then closing the doors, get a look at the projector opening. I just have a easily removable piece there that I painted the color of the wall, and yeah, it just keeps everything looking nice and keeps the noise from the projector reduced it quite a bit. So that's a look at the front of the doors. But yeah, back to the room. We'll start at the front with the screen. It was one of the 3 things I wanted to do this year, and it's a 120.5 inch 16:9 from Seymour AV. I use the Center Stage XD acoustic material, and it's in the 16:9 format. But the reason I went with Seymour is because they have the option, which I'll show in practice, but some custom velvet panels that just easily attach with magnets that convert it to a scope screen just like within seconds, you know, maybe 20 seconds total, which I'll demonstrate. But this was a big investment. This is where you could save a lot of money if you can live with gray bars or you think you can make your own. I think a silver ticket in the same size is about $500, and I spent $2,230 something. Put the total on the screen. So yeah, this was a big investment. If I could do it all over again, I'd probably still do it, but I would I'd still strongly recommend the silver ticket for $500 if you don't mind the gray bars. So yeah, that was a big big chunk for me. Something I didn't think I'd ever do, but I knew I needed to go to 16:9. I'm so happy I did. But so behind the screen, which I don't have any good video, so I'll have to do some screenshots. There are some Focal 300 IW6 LCR. That's the technical, that's literally the name, for my front 3 speakers. And normally these are about $1,200 each, but I got somebody to hook me up. I got some open box ones that were basically new, and just a little under $3,000 for the 3 of them, so I saved some money there. But it sucks because in-wall speakers, the next step down was some Polks, which I paid like $1,000 for all 3 of them, but the performance wasn't very good. As here you can see them, just wasn't up to the standards of what my room was becoming, and I just had to bite the bullet. And the Focals just are way cleaner. The Polks were there was distortion causing massive ear fatigue, so it was a real bummer for me. I didn't want to spend that much, and you know, had to at that point, because if you're not happy, then it ain't worth spending anything. And then unfortunately, because I went to in-walls, I also had to do front subwoofers because I lost a lot of my bass from my tower speakers. And you can't really see them here. I'll put up a photo of them. I've concealed them kind of with my front stage, but these are some SVS SB3000 sealed subwoofers. And I want to say, I don't have the exact, I'll put it on screen. It's around $2,250, I want to say. Got them from Crutchfield, and they're pretty much full price minus, I think, $100 because of a special going on. So yeah, that front wall is pretty expensive with the screen, the LCR, and the front subs. It's a pretty pricey front wall. Nowhere near what people do with JTRs or JBLs, or, you know, higher end speakers. But for me, it was a hard pill to swallow. But at the end of the day, I'm glad I did it. And to kind of finish it off, I built a custom stage out of black velvet and foam board, and then I put some lights, which when I have the masking panels up, the lights, you know, shine on the screen. So yeah, that's the front wall. Look at acoustic panels, all DIY diffusion columns I built, and, you know, getting into the rest of the room. But I just wanted to start with the front. Next, we'll talk about the carpet and the seating. I really love this carpet, and it was about $1,300, I think. The only thing I didn't do myself was have this carpet installed, and I really like it. I'll show you a shot with the lights off. You can see how when the screen's reflecting light, it creates like a shadow where there is like the recessed part of the carpet, and I think it looks really good. Very happy with it, super soft. But above that is this 3-seat leather couch. It's a Bob's Discount Furniture Special. It's got 2 power reclining seats on the edges. The middle seat unfortunately doesn't recline, but the cost savings more than makes up for it. So I paid with the protection plan just around $1,500 for this 3-seater, and there's a couple reasons why I think I can't really go away from this. And 1, obviously the price was too good. 2, because it doesn't have armrests in the middle, it's not as wide as like a Valencia or the Audio Advice ones. So I think if I try to go to one of those, if I don't go off center, it's going to be really tight just to get around. Because I think they're like a foot wider, so I'd be like 6 inches. I mean, I probably could get away with it, but and unfortunately, this is actually like $2,000 before tax now. They've raised the price. It's not as cost effective, but it sure beats spending $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 for the Valencia, and it's super comfortable. All right, so we might as well go to we'll do the side and back surrounds at the same time since they are the same Focal 300s. I think it's just IW6 without the LCR at the end. So I got all 4 of these, basically open box from Safe and Sound, and it was about $2,500 total for all 4 speakers. And then the columns and stuff obviously were an additional price, but you know, the Polks just weren't as good. Unfortunately, Polks I think are $300 for a pair, so I could have had 4 for $600 around there, and instead I opted to go with the Focal. I wish they didn't do a silver tweeter and the tan woofer, because then you have to use this, put this extra material in there so that they don't show up. But going from the Polks, direct comparison, because I used to have them there, it was night and day clarity. The Polks were just rough, kind of harsh sounding, and the Focals were way cleaner, so that's why I went with them. So rounding out the speakers are 4 Polk Audio RT70 in ceilings. Now, when I bought these, I had all Polk system, but I still think these are really good speakers, and I'll show you like a photograph. They're really tall because they have a bigger speaker on an angle, so you don't have this huge circle on the ceiling. But these were, I'll have to put the price on the screen. I didn't look up what the cost of all 4 of them was, but overall I'm happy with them. And then last but not least is this beast. This is my replica of a PB3000 SVS subwoofer. And with materials and all the tools needed, it cost me about $574. But I didn't have to buy the woofer or the amps because SVS sent me some for free to try to address a hissing sound that was coming from the front sub. And it helped, but it wasn't completely eliminated. And they just told me to throw away the woofer and the amp. So I said, what the hell? The hissing wasn't bad enough to warrant throwing them away, so I built my own and saved a lot of money, because if I was to buy one direct from SVS, they're $15.99 plus tax, which puts the total at like $1,700. So I saved a ton of money there, and also got like a significant upgrade over my old PB1000. So that was a win-win for me. Obviously, not everybody's going to be able to save money like that. I'm not sure about other like DIY subwoofer kits and stuff, but for me, this was an area where I, got lucky. But yeah, with that covers all the components and everything in the room. And I think it's time to total things up. So we'll start with the room itself, minus the AV equipment. And one caveat is that I finished the room in 2006 with drywall, insulation, studs, and electrical, and it cost me like $900. That was the lighting, the ceiling. But since then, I've done a lot more, and I'm not gonna do a calculation of inflation for that $900. So this price is gonna vary. Obviously, your room size and stuff will affect it. So this is gonna be the rear doors, the vertical columns, the acoustic panels, the trim. I did some duct work, the carpet, the seating, and the front stage and the front wall, all the treatment I did to the front wall. And that comes to $5,690.30. And then the AV equipment, which includes the screen, the 7 bed layer Focal speakers, the 4 Polk Audio in-ceiling speakers, the 2 SVS SB3000s in the front, my replica PB3000 in the back, and the JVC NP5 projector, comes to a total of $16,043.44. Now, it's a lot of money, and if you combine That with the room itself, it's $21,733.74, which again is a lot of money. But to talk about that, I'm going to sit back down on the couch and we'll wrap things up. I'll give you the final total and give you my final thoughts. So, see you in a second. And I'm back on this very comfortable couch to wrap things up. But before I give the final price, I do want to touch on a few things. First off, I just want to let you know, like, I never set out to spend this much money. It was never a goal of mine. I actually was the opposite. I was like very proud of having a very budget room. But what happened was like a cascade effect. Every time I would make an improvement to my room, it inspired me to make another improvement. So it started with DIY acoustic panels, which really helped like my side and rear surrounds. I could actually hear them properly. And it just like snowballed into, you know, subwoofer, new AVR, bigger screen, and wanted to have a comfortable couch now that I was happy with everything else. Carpet, paint, did a complete makeover of the room from paint to the vertical columns. Then that led to the front wall and having a big scope screen made me want to get a new projector. But in the middle of that, I had one occasion where I was a downgrade. So going from tower speakers and a bigger center channel to 3 in-wall Polk Audio, I think they were the 265 LS. That was a huge downgrade. Like I said, it was causing ear fatigue and I just wasn't happy and I was stuck because it was $1,000 for those 3 and the focals were going to be $3,000. So it was going to be 3 times the price. Luckily for me, I got a promotion at work right at that exact same time, and it was a significant pay increase. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to get the subwoofers to like really fill out the sound, and so it was kind of fortunate there. But it was just a cascade effect. I did something to improve the room. I was like, all right, let me improve this part of the room, and now that's improved. Well, let me improve this, and it's like, well, I don't want to go backwards, and I have this really awesome front wall and stuff. Like I said, let me get a really good projector, and so let me go back to a 16:9 screen to take full advantage of IMAX enhanced movies and 1.85 aspect ratio movies. So it was just a cascading effect, like I said, and I don't regret anything. And I was happy with my room at each stage. Other than those Polk speakers that I was unhappy with, it was always an upgrade worth doing. And it's been 4 years and like 7 months since I started, so I didn't do it all at once. But again, I never set out to spend this much, and I'm not married, I don't have kids, so it's really up to me what I spend my money on, and I've just chosen to dedicate a lot to this hobby, and it's really worked out. Another thing that I wanted to mention was, I saved $4,500 by just asking a place, hey, can you give me a deal on that? Can you take some off the price? I'll say Crutchfield won't do that, but Safe and Sound's done it. I also bought open box speakers, saved hundreds of dollars there. For my LCRs and my projector, I went to a place that hooked me up with a deal, and it's like $4,500 just by asking. You might get rejected, and this place or another place might not be able to help you out, but it doesn't hurt to ask. So saving $4,500, it was huge. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to get the things I got. Building that subwoofer box saved me like $1,200 or something like that. Yeah, it worked out for me. I got lucky that they told me to discard the old woofer and amp instead of sending it back to them, so I had that to be able to build a subwoofer. But either way, you just ask for a deal. Buy open box stuff. You can return it if it's not right. And I've gotten good results doing that. So that would be my advice. Obviously, there's used marketplace and stuff. I haven't really tapped into that, but that's an alternative source as well. And also, if you have a room and you're happy with it, Don't worry about what other people have. Don't worry about the stuff that I have. Now, if you're like, I'm happy with my room, but I think I want a bigger screen, then you're probably not going to regret it. Like, and unless you're doing something just because of FOMO, because somebody else does it, that would be something I would caution against. But at the end of the day, everybody's got their own budget and their own goals, and just do what you can within your budget, within your goals. And like I said, ask for deals, because there's no negative side to it. And but with that out of the way, I'm going to talk about the final build cost and get out of here. So the total with everything, and I did add a few other little things like the calibration mic and all that to the total, was $26,139.89. Again, that's a lot of money, more than double I thought I would ever spend, but it's been well worth it for me, and I have no regrets. So thank you for checking out this video. If you made it this far, let me know in the comments below. Give the video a like, and look forward to more content in the future. So with that, I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to go watch a movie. Have a good one.